Well, hello there, Facebook and YouTube friends. It's been an unusual couple of months. We've been locked down for the COVID-19 coronavirus and social unrest over the last 10 days, times that are very, very odd. Many of us have had to find things to do around the house. And one of the things that I've done is watch a lot of knife reviews on YouTube. Ever since 1976, when I started with Miami-Dade, well then Metro-Dade Fire Rescue, as a young fireman, we all carried a Buck 110 folding hunter. It was a lockback knife with wood scales and brass bolsters. Spyderco had not invented the pocket clip yet, so we all carried it on in a leather sheath on our belts. It was the first hard duty get any job done knife that I ever owned. I lost track of mine over the years, have no idea. I'd love to have it back now, but I don't. But it taught me over the years a love of knives. Gibbs rule number 9, if you are an NCIS fan, you know, always carry a knife, and I always do. Usually 2, but at least 1. And today I'm going to give you a little review of one of my favorites. I'll continue to bring more of them to your attention in the future. If you don't like knives, just turn off. But if you do like knives, stick around. You might learn something. This is one of my favorites. Over the years, I've had expensive knives, expensive watches. I have kind of limited myself to, I will not spend more than $300 on a knife. Now, a lot of you will say, well, my God, that's a lot of money. And it is. But trust me, you can spend a whole lot more on knives. I have many, many knives in the $50 to $200 range, and this is one of them. And you know, you can buy a good knife for $25. You have to know what you're looking for. If you see a knife over $300, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it to you? But in this case, I'm going to show you my Kizer Sheepdog. This is the standard Sheepdog. They make a mini Sheepdog and an extra large. And the mini was too small for me. I ordered it and actually sent it back. I have no experience with the extra large, but this Kizer Sheepdog, these are 1-inch squares. So closed, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, just over 4.5 inches long. This is a flipper, and the open length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 inches. It's just at 8 inches. This has a cleaver-shaped blade, which is really just a modified Wharncliffe. A Wharncliffe blade would be straight across. This has a little bit of belly to it. It's a titanium frame. It is a S35 VN. That's the type of steel, which is, let's see if that'll focus there. Oh, I can't get that to focus. It's S35 VN steel, which is a good steel, easy to sharpen. It is a frame lock knife, which this is the frame lock, which when the knife is opened, the spring tension on this frame is what locks up with the tang of the blade, and it's very, very secure. It's a stone washed blade. It has a blue accent around the pivot. It has these lightning slots. I say lightning not as in lightning from the sky, but they lighten it up a little bit. It's very smooth. contoured. Easy to get all 4 fingers on the knife. With the mini, I could only get 3.5 fingers on the knife, and that's why I sent it back. But I like a full-size, hard-use knife that you're not afraid to get in there and get at a task with. Now, this is a knife made in China. There is a lot of discussion in the knife world about should we be boycotting China given all the things that have gone on. Well, here, let's face facts. Look around your house. 50%, 75%, many of the things that you see, even if it's just the parts within the things you have in your house, come from China. So I'm not going to go down that road. Chinese knife manufacturers have really stepped up their game in quality and fit and finish over the last 5 years. This knife was $202 from Blade HQ. It's worth every penny. It is a solid knife that I enjoy carrying. If you like knives, you will like this knife. The pocket clip is very well done. There's plenty of room to get it into a pair of jeans, which is, if I'm awake and I have my clothes on, it's jeans. It's an open design. A couple of standoffs here. I have the action. I have it to where I like it so that the pivot is tight enough. It will drop closed, but with a flipper knife, you can either do a light switch, which is down, or a push button, which is pushing straight down on the knife. And I have the detent, the pivot screw adjusted so that detent is stiff. I can push down on that knife, on that flipper, which is how I prefer to do it. With a light switch is a little slower, but a lot of people like them to fall shut a little easier. I like the detent on this knife stiff so that when I push down on it, it flies out just like that. It's a one-handed operation. The blade length is 1, 2, 3, a little over 3 inches, and the cutting edge, which goes to the sharpening choil, which is right there, is just at 3 inches. So it's a full-size knife. I enjoy it quite a bit. I don't know what it weighs. It's not heavy in the pocket, but it's all titanium. Titanium handles, titanium clip, titanium standoffs. It's a good-looking knife. It feels good in the hand, and it will. It's really up to any task that you could ask of it. The blade stock is quite thick, and you can see all the way out here to the tip that although you're not meant to get into and pry with a knife, this knife has a very solid blade and is up to hard use, heavy duty tasks. The Kizer logo that you see right there is nice. Not a lot of big billboarding on this knife. Carries quite easily in the pocket. You can see with the pocket clip, it's not really deep carry, but when this goes into your pocket, that's really all of the knife that's sticking out. That's maybe 3/16 of an inch, 1/4 inch. It's not a 1/2 inch. And that actually makes it easy to get in and out of the pocket. I've carried this knife quite a lot. That's the fidget factor. It's fun to open and to close. The blade is centered. And I had a hard time with this knife when I adjusted the pivot to get it to the action that I wanted. It wasn't quite centered. And that took me a little bit of back and forth to get it adjusted to where that blade would be centered between the two scales. So Blade HQ is a good source for knives. I think it's $202 for the full-size knife. If you like knives, if you like pocket knives, if you like folding pocket knives that are up to a hard task, the Kizer Sheepdog is a good choice. If you're just a cheap bastard and want a $25 to $50 knife, those are out there too. And I have them, and I do carry them. But this one is one of my favorites, and I tend to carry this one a lot more than I carry the cheaper knives. And there's something good that just feels good about it in the hand. There's no jimping here. This is all smooth. Jimping is the horizontal cuts in a knife that the manufacturers put in there to give you a point to gain traction. This knife does not need it. The contours of the grip give you a good purchase. It's not going to slip out of your hand, and it will, it's up to any task that you can ask of it. You can even open envelopes with this knife, although that's a beast of a blade for an administrative knife in the office, but it'll do it. And it's up to the harder use tasks, anything that you can ask of it. So this will be just one of the first of one of several videos. I'm going to show you a lot of my knives. If you're bored and you don't like knives, don't watch. It's okay. I love knives. I carry one, usually two every day. When I have my clothes on, I have a knife or more, and I believe that's just the way it should be. So with that, I'm going to sign off and review this video, and hopefully it came out to an acceptable, watchable video that you all might enjoy. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Adios, Facebook and YouTube friends. This was the Kizer Sheepdog titanium frame lock knife.